Hey there, welcome back. This is Darcy, and I am here to update you again on this project. This is part 4 of a continuing series about a makeover that I am helping my neighbors with. That's why I started by showing you this. This is my favorite commute because here I am at home. That's my home garden today. I thought you might enjoy seeing that. But I get to help my neighbors as well. And we're going to be we've been documenting the process. And what's really cool about it being right next door is that, one, I get to, watch it unfold every day and update you guys. So that's super convenient. Yeah, anyways, I just like the commute. And it's been a really fun project. So what is happening? We have planted quite a bit since the last update. And so I'll try and kind of take you through some of those. But also the garden is starting to wake up. So some of the things that we planted last time are starting to show. So we're getting a sense of what our color story is going to be like. We've got some of those roses. They're blooming. They're very, very peppy colors. Got a Salvia. Really very peppy and bright and fun. What else is blooming? Oh, some of the rock roses are starting to bloom. So there's going to be ground covers. And we'll look again at the other end. There's some things that are starting to bloom. But, obviously a lot of bare ground still. And, that's one of my points today is that this garden, is not that showy yet, right? And that's because it's brand new. That empty ground is just part of having a new garden. If it was already looking awesome and full, then we would have a problem. That means I probably overplanted it and had too many plants in there. So it's just natural that at the beginning, it's not going to film as well as later. But part of what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm just going to update you on a regular basis of this garden so you can really kind of see how long it takes for things to really get going and to unfold and for the garden to reveal itself, if you will. I try to take a lot of care in spacing plants appropriately, so that they're not going to outgrow their space. And then I balance that with putting a lot of plants in there that are still beautiful and fun. And, if you think about the garden as it may look in 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years, I try and envision that when I am making the selections of plants as I'm placing them out. And the idea is that the garden is going to look really great as soon as this year. And actually there's a lot going on even now, even though it's, obviously pretty bare. But the idea is that it's going to look good in the near term. But on the long term, we've got our permanent plants appropriately spaced. So obviously our trees are permanent plants, and so those were factored in. There was a tree up there on the conifer up there. So some of those were existing permanent plants, but we also added some plants that are going to be permanent. So, and when I say permanent, it's like, of course, fingers crossed, if everything goes well, they're going to be part of the garden and part of the frame, and they're going to be around on the long term. So the types of additions for those types of plants that I put in since the last time I updated you is I've got a conifer here. It's a eastern hemlock called Golden Duke. It'll ultimately fill this space. It'll be relatively slow. So we'll probably plant something behind that conifer in the short term so that we can have fun in that space in the near term. But ultimately that conifer will kind of occupy that space. The other kind of shrub, the other anchoring plants that we put in since last time this is a ornamental pomegranate, so it's going to have orange blooms, and it does fruit, but it's just decorative. It's not edible. This fantastic conifer, I don't think I had it in there last time. And then some of these other ones we had already looked at last time, but they are definitely in there, getting established. We've got an oak leaf hydrangea that we transplanted, which is coming along. Looks like it's going to leaf out. Probably since last time, that pittosporum towards the back is a new addition. And I think this ribes was here. Now you notice there's some grass still down there. This bed is going to continue to get shaped over time, and there's going to be a tree here, but all in due time. So right now we're just focusing on this area, and so that kind of explains a little bit why that grass is shaped the way it is. So another important addition, and if we kind of go back and if you just focus for a minute and look at the repetition of color, you'll see that we've done a little work on bringing that burgundy into the garden a little bit more. And we had those Berberis orange rocket, and in spring those are really bright. They're really beautiful, and right now you can't see them very well, but they are there and they are important. So what we've done now is that we added this barberry. That one is called Golden Ruby, and it is a slow and low dwarf bun that also has that really nice, rich, orangey coloring. And so it kind of reinforces and echoes what's happening with the orange rocket barberries. And so those are a new addition. And let's see. Oh, and then the other way that we're bringing the burgundy in play, and again, it'll unfold over time, and you can probably not see it that great, but I like to use the Hens and Chicks along the borders, and I'm gonna pause for a second for that truck to go by. I like to use the Hens and the Chicks along the front border, and those I especially like to use them to kind of bring that burgundy in. And these particular ones are, big rosettes, and we will add additional sedums and sempervirens that are a little smaller, different textures, different colors. We'll probably get some gray in there and that sort of thing. But my point here was that I am using them also to bring some of that burgundy into play and get that kind of repetition of the burgundy bouncing back and forth between the two parts of the garden. And then in this view here, you can also get a sense of how I'm doing that with the yellow foliage. So we've got this conifer here, evergreen, teardrop, really just beautiful color and shape. And then this little guy, and there's several of these through here, 3, 4, maybe 5 of them. And they are also golden, similar texture, but they are low and to the front. Another yellow addition is right here in the middle. That's a choisia Sundance. So that's yellow, it's evergreen, and it's going to occupy that center space. So we've got repetition of foliage color, and then the flower scene is going to not be as evident in this video. It will become more evident as the summer goes on. But generally speaking, we've got, oranges, we've got some reds and yellows, and that's the color scheme that we're going through. So I think probably I will end today's video here, and invite you to continue returning and subscribe to my channel to get updates on this garden, and then also other content like garden tours and design tips and whatnot. So if you like this type of content, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel and keep checking in. So thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.